Okay, I am the rat-faced git. That's my username on the Watch You Seek website for the forums, F10 Russian watches. I'm going to show you how to remove a 2209 movement out of a cadet case, watch case, and how to do a total service. But for this, we're just going to do the basic things first. At the top of the hour at noon, on the bezel, there's a little relief on that bezel where you can slide in a case knife and give that a little twist, and should pop that bezel right off. If it's not real tight, you can use your fingernail actually. This being an older watch, it's a little sloppy, so it comes off pretty quick, and that's pretty much all that is. We're going to clean that later. Crystal on here isn't too bad. It's got some scratches, it's got some crazing, some ultraviolet light damage, but for the most part it's not in bad shape. We're going to flip this over, take a look at the back. I already loosened the retaining ring for the back of the case with a remover, and we're just going to give that a turn and completely take that off. You can do a lot of this work with your basic watchmaking tools. Don't have to go crazy with the Swiss stuff. However, I do like Dumont tweezers. I have at least one set of Dumont tweezers for balance jewels. They just handle balance jewels so well. They're worth the price. They can be pricey. I got mine for $45 on Amazon of all places. Okay, the next step, we're gonna take the movement out of here, but we got to remove the stem first. And right here, we're gonna depress this pin while pulling on this stem in the hand setting position, and that will release it. So while depressing that pin and pulling on the stem, it releases and comes right out. The movement is held in the case by a screw here, and then one screw directly across from it, about 180 degrees apart, with a little keeper that fits into a slot. I don't know the name of that keeper. I'm not big on technical terms, never was. I'm sure if I took the time to memorize what they were, I would know. So for now, we're going to call it a keeper. When I was a car mechanic, I called anything like that a Geister keeper. Okay, loosen both screws. That way, the movement has a little slop inside the case, and it's a lot easier to remove these screws. So the first one, we give that a turn. The Dumont tweezers are very nice for the very light work with balance jewels. For work like this, I like to save the tips and just use something that I picked up. I think these are made in Israel or France, I'm not sure. There's a shot of that keeper. I don't know what it's called. It's Geister keeper as far as I'm concerned. We'll put that in our bin. Give this a turn, 180 degrees. And here's the other screw. This is taking longer than usual because I'm trying to make sure I have things in focus for everybody. And you can see this whole process should take, I don't know, a minute or two, but for the sake of clarification and showing everybody what's going on here, I might take a little time to make sure everybody sees what's happening. Okay, the movement is loose from the case. Flip the case over, and there you go. You have the movement. At this time, I like to reinsert the stem because of the keyless works. That's a technical term I do know, the keyless works. They're going to be accessible once we get the crown off. Okay, that's back in. It also makes a nice little handle we can handle this thing with. Our next step is going to be to take the hands off of this movement. I like to set the time so the hour hand and the minute hand are directly across from each other. The second hand, that's pretty much going to move around on itself just because of that balance is going to start moving whenever we put any movement into the works here. The hand removal tool is a device that kind of grips the hands and pushes against the face of the dial while popping off the hands at the same time when you squeeze the levers on the side. If anybody has this tool, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We want to get that second hand position, and we're going to move our hands so everything's lined up and we're not going to interfere with anything. Okay, let's see how this goes. Hopefully I can show you this action exactly how it should look for clarification. Okay, let's try that without the lights and my video here. It's a lot easier than trying to, of course it's still winding down. Might be a good time to remove the balance so this doesn't happen. Maybe that's what I should do. Either way, we're going to make do with this. We slip a piece of paper under here to protect the face. Yeah, that thing's not going to stop ticking, is it? Of course not. Okay, let's keep messing with it. We'll get everything lined up so I can get it in front of the camera. Normally, this process would be done by now because it just takes such little time to take everything apart. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to rotate this if I can. There you go. Hopefully that helps. And this will show you how the puller works. Well, it looks like I gripped both of those, the second hand and the minute hand, but that's okay, sometimes that works. And the next one will be the hour hand. Just basically a push-pull action. Hopefully you can see that on the video. It centers right up. That spring-loaded pin in the middle pushes down while the fingers pull up and picks that right up. It's kind of a slick little system. Very inexpensive tool. They're fairly cheap. $10–15 at the most. You don't have to buy some exotic thing made in Switzerland. This one might have been, I don't know, cheap enough for me since I'm dirt poor. Okay, now we have to remove the dial. The dial has dial screws. There's one right there, and about 180 degrees from it there is another one. There you go. So we're going to loosen those first. And I'm just using basic cheap screwdrivers, actually, that I got at Merritt's out in Douglasville, PA. I think it's merrittsantiques.com. Well, just Google it and you'll find it. I think these were made in France or Israel. I'm not sure. But I did get a sharpening stone and a jig, and they work very well. Okay. Sometimes that dial won't just pop out, so you need to take a screwdriver and just take the blade in there, give it a little twist, and we're gonna work that out. Okay, let's get a better shot of that. There you go. Maybe I don't have that screw loose enough. Of course I got lots of screws loose, just not on my movement. There you go, pops right off. Here's the underside or the top side of that movement, showing the keyless works in here, and your cannon pinion in the middle, some balance jewels, and here is the back side of the dial. These are dial feet that I'm picking that up with. We'll give that a turn, and we take a look at this dial. That's kind of nice. It's not some worn out, faded clunker. I got this on eBay for a few bucks a while ago. My wife likes these because they're small. The juniors are smaller, and it's got a nice design. She likes the colors. When I started collecting these, she got into them too. She's probably got about, I don't know, a dozen Russian timepieces. But for now, this is all we're going to do, and in the next video we're going to disassemble this movement and do a full service. So see you next time.